welcome to Finding Your Frequency, a show where we meet people where they're at in North Florida, find out who they are, where they're going, and what it takes to get there successfully. Brian Sexton with an old friend, Jeremy Belloit, now of MedSource Labs, but one of the original Jaguars employees. You've grown up.
I think we both have.
Is it the gray hair? Does that give it away?
It might, Brian. It might.
So you were always an enterprising guy, whether you had the camera on your shoulder and you were looking to get the story, or now with MedSource Labs. What's the journey been like for you from young guy out of college, excitement around the start of a franchise, to now successful businessman?
Yeah, I would say the journey has been an interesting one with a lot of stops and starts, but a learning process. Some humbling, some proud moments.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I would change much of it. It's been from sports to broadcasting to a little on the writing side. And then medical 15, 18 years ago, and I've been there ever since.
I think you probably agree with this. I would say that the last 10 years since my situation changed, since they took me out of the booth, which I had made such a big part of my life,
Yeah.
right? That's why I'm where I'm at today. The first 20 were amazing.
Yeah.
The last 10 have been in their own right as well. It's the struggle, the journey that makes you who you are.
Sure, and I think we were so young back in the beginning there when you and I were in broadcasting with the Jags together. And I'm not sure that either one of us pictured life after the team.
No, I didn't.
And
I'm still there, that's why.
I get it, but there is. And there's a big world out there. And there's lots of opportunities. And I am thankful, extremely thankful for the time that I spent with the team, not only as an employee, but working on the field and helping out with some of the broadcasting in the stadium after my regular employment with the Jaguars ended. I'm appreciative and thankful for that. It was a great platform and launching pad to where I am now, and I look back on it with much fondness.
So let's talk about where you are. Although before we do,
sure.
Just a quick aside, we're going to write a book someday, right?
We should.
You, me,
We
Jen,
should.
J.I., we're going to write a book,
Yeah.
and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I hope you didn't sign a non-disclosure
No,
agreement.
never.
Okay, fantastic.
And by the way, those aren't worth the paper they're written on.
So tell me about MedSource Labs. What's going on there?
So MedSource Labs is a privately held company out of Minnesota. I work remotely here in Florida most of the time, but I'm up there at least 1 week out of every month. We're just outside of Minneapolis. We focus on Class 2 devices, and to make this somewhat interesting, basically peripheral IV catheters is our main product. So anytime that you want to deliver fluids or medicine to a patient, either in a hospital, an emergent situation, or even when you're getting a bag of fluids after a long night out, you're using our product.
How long did it take you to go from football, broadcasting, writing to
wow.
medical devices? And what did you do to build your base of expertise?
So some of it was self-made, and some of it was others encouraging me, hey, what are you doing in broadcasting? You should be doing something else,
right?
That maybe is a little more rewarding. As you know, Brian, when you work in professional sports, it's rewarding in some ways, and it maybe isn't as rewarding in others.
It's nowhere near as glamorous as you'd like it to be.
No,
yeah,
it is
absolutely.
not. It's enjoyable, but there's more to things, more to life, and especially when as we were young parents at the time, you want to plan and you want a future that gives you a little bit more diversity of path. And so in working with our circle sponsors at the time, one of them was Baptist St. Vincent's, was what they were called then, and different versions of that throughout the years. And working with some of their executives at the time, they were like, you're more well suited to this than maybe that.
Right.
And I thought that was nonsense.
Right.
But 5 or 6 years after the sports thing and a couple of businesses later, I thought maybe, and I had some contacts in the industry. I used it, and I started at the beginning. It was humbling, to start over at that time in my 30s and start at the beginning, learn the business, learn the products. But yeah, I ended up in distribution, manufacturing, national accounts, had my own business twice.
Right.
As you said, I've always had an entrepreneurial vein.
Yeah,
that comes from my parents. So yeah, it was a twisting, turning road, but I've ended up in device manufacturing, and I love it.
Listen, let's touch on this at the end, and that is that you and everyone who's watching, we are our own greatest project in life.
That's a good way of putting it.
You always have to reinvent, and you stumble. I've tried a couple of different things too. Hasn't always worked.
Yeah.
Get back up on your feet. try again. Just don't quit.
Yeah.
Over the course of your life, you're constantly finding things that you're good at, that you're successful at, that make you happy. But the reverse is also true. Things you're not good at, things that you fail at, and things that make you miserable. Keep going until you find where you're supposed to be.
I was going to point that out. I had a business fail, and it was tough to take at the time, but I learned so much from that. And one of those humbling experiences I referred to earlier, but it made me a better business person, probably better, maybe a better human as well.
Yeah.
And it taught me a few lessons that maybe I should have picked up 15 or 20 years prior, but we all get there on our own time frame.
Yeah.
So even the stumbles, to use the old sports analogies, you get up, you dust yourself off, and you keep going. You play again. You live to play another down.
Yeah.
And I think what some of the down moments have brought to me is it's shown me that I have some resilience, and that I have a great support system, and there's always another day.
All right, so let me play the radio analogy as we wrap it up. You feel dialed in? I mean, you crystal clear. You can hear where your frequency is. You can feel it.
Brian, if I'm not there yet, I'm getting closer.
Okay.
And I'm a believer in incremental improvement on a daily basis. And I think I'm getting that dial really, really close.
It's great to see you, my old friend.
Good to see you.
That'll do it for Finding Your Frequency. We'll see you next time.